Hi guys, Movie Cuban here. So, I wanted to come on and talk about a game that I've sank a little bit of time into now. I think I've been playing on the server here for a good, I want to say 6 months or so. It might have been longer. I'm not 100% on that. Because frankly, time just kind of flies by in my life these days. But I wanted to come on and make a video about the game because it has managed to make itself one of my more preferred titles when it comes to mobile games. And while while there have been moments that caused me to shake my fist in anger at the developers, there's also been a lot of nice things that they have done that I've agreed with. And so I wanted to come on here today and talk about that because I have a feeling that this game has a lot of potential if the devs could just, if you'll excuse my language, get their shit together. So, the game in question is called Tales of Erin. It actually is a relatively popular game on the app stores, both Apple and Google Play wise. So, the thing I really like about this game is it's another character collection game. It's also technically a gacha game, but unlike games like Fate Grand Order and stuff like that, I've found that the drop rate in this game is a little more forgiving, in that I've had a lot of random 5-star characters pop up while doing single pulls, as opposed to doing the actual, multi-roll. And I'll talk briefly about which one I think that you should do in just a little bit. But I wanted to go over the basics. So, as you can see here on the home screen, we've got an event tab, we've got daily gift, we've got ranking, quest, sign in, we've got trial, Dark Tide Ruins, and Star World Exploration over in the right hand corner. And so the trials are going to give you something called fruits. And these fruits are actually what we use to improve our characters in this game. So, the thick ones here are the large ones. They work for costumes. These are the large ones that work for character upgrades. And so you're going to be farming these fruits in order to increase the power of your characters. So for the quests, since I did just get something, there are little things that you have to do every day, your daily quests. And every time you complete one of them, you'll get something, like stamina and whatever. And then the first treasure chest on the bottom you get when you complete 3 of the daily quests. And then I believe the second chest is when you complete 7 of them. Now, the Dark Tide Ruins are where you're going to go to farm gold in the game. This is single-handedly the best place, in my opinion, for you to be able to farm mass amounts of gold in a quick amount of time. Now, it may get a little bit monotonous just grinding the gold quest, but believe me when I say that with how this game is set up and how central gold is to the economy of the game, you're going to want to keep a decent supply of it up. Now, the Star World exploration is where you go to get crafting materials, and there's lots of different materials in this game. So there are the fruits for character and costume enhancement. There's something called the Heart of Erin, which is an upgrading material. All these things here of each element are used to upgrade characters as levels so that you can limit break them. And then there's also something called soul costumes in this game. And these soul costumes tend to increase the power of your characters exponentially. And all these quests are is for you to gather those soul costume materials. Now, ideally, you would be sending 3 people on each of these missions, but I find that I don't have enough characters to be able to pull that off. And when I want to be able to go through and just get each of the materials, because I'll usually log on and I'll usually come through here and I'll gather all of these soul costume materials. And if you just do that every day and you don't focus on the fact that you're doing it, but you just get into that routine, then eventually you'll find that you've accumulated a whole lot of them. And then you can upgrade a bunch of characters en masse like I did. Then we have the summon tab here. This is where you're going to go when you need your fill of gacha rage. Most often there's an event summon going on. There is a basic character summon if you saw a character that you really wanted from just like the base game. There's a chance for you to pull them there. Every now and then they'll do an event summon where they'll release like special costumes here. Those cost 120 of the in-game currency, which are called Star Gems. For shits and giggles, we can try for one. Oh, 4-star. Nope, no good luck for me, but that's alright. That's always helpful, because your weaker weapons are going to be used to enhance your better weapons. And we'll talk about that also in just a second. I also wanted to talk about the various shops. So in addition to the event shop that's going on, and the ability to purchase star gems and whatever, they also do offer these other packs that tend to have goodies in them that you could use if you're not worried about being free to play or whatever. And then there's the pack shop, and there are free gem packs, so you could save up your free gems and get some of these things, like 15,000 jade would not be bad. A costume lucky bag where you can get a random 5-star weapon of one of the elements. So it's definitely not bad at all. And then there's the secret shop, which is my favorite shop in the game, because you have a chance to get such good items from this shop for relatively cheap. And I usually buy all the things that I can get with cash before I refresh it. I don't always get the low level stuff, but that's because I'm relatively advanced now. For you beginners, I would recommend buying up whatever you can grab with gold. And then if you see something that's super cheap for like star gems and you think that you'll need that later, then by all means pick that up. I don't consider that to be a bad way to go about things by investing for future characters and future situations that you may go into, because there's nothing worse that I've found in this game than finally limit breaking a character you've been working super hard on, and then going to try and up their soul costume and you just can't because you don't have the materials for it. Alright, this is our last refresh. Oh, healer's badge. Nice. And then I'm actually going to bite the bullet and buy this ranger's badge. Because I do need that. Oh, right. And then, of course, the last two are the Jade Exchange, where you can trade your Jade in for lower level weapons of each element, lower level amulets. These will increase attack and health, respectively. Attack for the longbows, health for the amulets. And then you can get gold hammers. And these are used to change skill affixes on your weapons. Because every weapon, as you can see right here, the attack of dark character plus 20, attack of dark character plus 15. So those are the two skill attributes, and every weapon gets two of them randomly assigned to it when it drops. And you won't always be lucky and have affixes that will help for the element in question. Like right here. I just tried to use a golden hammer to try and fix these affixes, and now I have HP of water characters and HP of dark characters, which this is a light weapon, so that's not going to help at all. I'll probably save up another gold hammer and then come back to that later. And then I do like to go through and lock items that I don't want to accidentally burn, because there would be nothing more vexing than putting a lot of effort and time into trying to max out a weapon only to accidentally feed it to a lower tier weapon or something. Now, I'm not going to lock these master crossbows because, in all honesty, they're not that great even maxed out. Because, I mean, 961 HP and 640 attack that's not a be-all, end-all thing. I may keep them around just in case, like, a new dark character drops and I need equipment for that. But that's really the only thing I can see that would, be worthwhile for that. And then the final shop is actually my favorite shop in game, because this shop is the only shop. Ooh, I gotta buy another copy of these. This shop is the only shop in any game that I know of that makes it so that your chances of getting a character aren't totally random. Because this is Tales of Erin's failsafe. Every time you do a character summon or whatever, you'll get a round of character medals. Those are the little gold medals up top there. And if you save up 5,000 of them, you can actually purchase 5-star characters. You can also purchase what's called an awakening fruit, which is used to limit break your characters. Because in this game, you awaken characters in order to max out their power. So they'll start at +0 when you get them, and then you need to get 10 additional copies of that character in order to max out their attack and defense and all that good stuff completely. So this is my Sigdrifa. She was actually an event character who I farmed very hard in order to get to +10. We're currently on the Needhog event, and I have her at +6, and I'm trying really hard to keep myself motivated to the point where I can finish farming for the rest of her awakenings, but I've been so busy lately, and frankly the grind of trying to get her to plus 10 is starting to wear on me. But I'll probably do some farming tonight and try and get that done. Because it just won't sit well for me if I don't max out Needhog like I maxed out Yggdrasil. And so I'm glad that I'm doing this because this will give me a chance to go into character or discussing the characters themselves. So every character is going to have 4 skills, 2 actives, 2 passives. Depending on the passives, you may want to focus on maxing those out first, because I have personally seen that a lot of the passive skills are really helpful in pinch situations. However, I'm also the kind of person who ascribes to the blow them up mentality, so I just like to go in and attack people with everything I have until it's dead or I'm dead. And then every character, once they're on their third ascension, or goddammit, discover potential. When they're on stage 3 of the potential discovery, you get access to wearing 3 costumes. And what you have each character wear is going to depend on that character. And if you want more in-depth talk about what characters should wear what, I may do breakdown videos for characters in the future, so that is something to look forward to. But in the meantime, a general good rule of thumb is put attack and crit weapons on your damage doing characters, and then put health and maybe health and crit stuff on your healer characters. There is also the thought that you should be putting attack on your healers to some extent, since the effectiveness of their healing is dependent on how much attack they have. I.e., the more attack they have, the more effective they're going to be at keeping your team from getting one hit. And that's very helpful. So in the party screen, you have the option to change your parties and to mess with each character and their equipment. Then there's the character list, which is going to show you all of the characters that you possess, and they're going to go in order of strongest to weakest. So do keep that in mind. And it's ranked by like attack and level and whatever. So if I ranked everyone by attack, there. These are apparently... Wait. Alright, wow. Base attack, my people are not doing that hot. But that's super misleading. One of the biggest problems with this game, at least in terms of understanding how strong you are, is that it goes by a power system. And so there are so many multipliers at work in the game that you get from like costumes and skill affixes and whatever. And so a base power or the base attack of a character doesn't really mean anything, because at the end of the day, like you just saw, my good example, my Lorelei here has 174,268 power, but when I go into her actual breakdown, she only has 68,145 attack. But then there is crit damage and stuff like that, which all contributes to that. So it's a whole lot of numbers that work out to making your character stronger. And I'm sorry that I can't explain that better, but frankly, even I don't fully understand it. Next, we have the guild menu. I would recommend, as a new player, to try and get into a guild as quickly as possible. And there are plenty of guilds out there. I would recommend going on Facebook or Discord and looking for Tales of Erin groups. I managed to find this group. They have some requirements that might be a little difficult for newbie players, but like I said, there is a bunch of communities of people and guilds out there. You could definitely find one tailored more to beginners. Then you can go to the guild facility and you can donate your excess resources to the guild. You'll get rewards based on the facility level every time it levels up. There's the guild shop, which lets you buy a bunch of goodies from wisdom fruits to stamina potions to the fruits to enhance your characters and your costumes, 5-star costumes, and then these are items, I believe, for Nirvana weapon stuff. But that's a whole other discussion that we'll get into in a bit. Then there's the massive battles. These are just where you go to fight the elemental bosses. These you can farm to get costumes of certain elements, all the way from 3-star to 5-star costumes. And so, and the drop rates are super random to the point where there were times where I was running super easy missions, like I think hard or hell difficulty, and I was getting 5-star like rare weapons. And then there were also times where I ran super high level missions and only got 4-star weapons. So the game's kind of weird like that, but I guess that's the joy of random drops. Let's see. There is currently a top-up event going on, I think, where if you buy in-game currency, you get a Woolian, 300 star gems, and then stamina potions, fruits of trial. So I would recommend for beginners doing the first time top-up just to get a little bit ahead. I think you can do as low as like 99 cents for that. Yeah, like you could literally buy 60 star gems and it'll count towards topping up. And then you get all these nice rewards and you only spent like $1. But if you don't want to put any money into it and you want to be purely free to play, then you'll just have to work a little bit harder towards attaining one of your 5-star characters. So in the battle screen, there's the world map. Every time you accomplish one of these missions here, you'll typically get either star gems or a rare crafting mat of some kind. So you can totally be free to play and rack up a hell of a lot of gems just from completing the story missions. There are also a multitude of ways that you can get other free gems. You can buy the, let's see here. You could go to, you could buy the permanent card like I did. And so for 3,465 days, I get 100 star gems every day, basically forever. So if you wanted that reliable 100 star gems a day, you could do that. Um, you also get star gems every day by doing the Dark Tide Ruins once and then completing a certain amount of daily quests. Achievements are another thing. Every time you do, or every time you reach certain milestones in the game, you'll get rewarded with star gems. So, like, it's not hard to get them, but it is hard to get the people that you want with them. I would also personally recommend never spending star gems after a certain point on a banner. And here's what I mean. Typically, when an event banner will start, you will have the option to do the 10 pull for 980 star gems. This is a great bargain. I would recommend doing that. But once you do that, it jumps up to 1,980 star gems for a 10 pull. And that's a little bit steep. So I tend not to do 10 pulls unless I've topped up gems or I've gotten my leaderboard rewards and want to try my luck. And the leaderboard resets every Sunday night, so that'll be happening here soon. The leaderboard is for the guild tower. So basically, you do guild missions, or you run this tower and you rank up your points and you get to a certain level, and then you get rewarded for that based on your rank. So I need to do way better in order to rank, but I just don't have the time or the stamina left to do it. So I'll have to be content being in the top 30. But there's also something called the Star World Nirvana War, which you can only participate in if you're in a guild, but it gives you access to so many good things that you'll need later on that I would highly recommend participating just for those rewards. Like, they're totally worth it. Finally, there's the workshop, and it's one of my favorite places. So not only can you look at all the gear that you have equipped to different characters, but you can also look at the stuff that you don't have equipped. And I feel like that's a really nice touch. Excuse me, I need to break through this dagger. Woo! Level 2! Alright. And then, there's your item inventory. You have one for both your materials and your actual items. Then there's the crafting tab where you can craft for 3-star through 5-star weapons with like those base materials we were looking at earlier. So we'll try our luck and see how that goes. But in addition to these bottom ones here for the lower tier stuff, you can also do these upper ones, and these are guaranteed 5-star costumes. Like, there's no possible... See the difference in wording? The bottom ones, you may get a rare 5-star, and then these ones are just straight up get a rare 5-star. So that's definitely worthwhile if you farm up those items. And you can typically get them from events pretty easily. And then finally there's the Reforge. And this is purely for Nirvana weapons. So beginners aren't going to need to worry about this at all. And there you have it. Tales of Erin. I know that I've glanced over everything briefly. I am going to go more in depth for different topics in later videos. This is just a video where I wanted to cover the basics. And having said that, I realized I didn't talk about party setup. So the final takeaway for your party setup is that you are going to want a tank character, you're going to want a damage character, and then you're going to want a healer, definitively. For your fourth character, it honestly depends on what sort of utility you need. Personally, I run a second healer on my fire team because I know that I need that additional healing when my other healer's on cooldown. For my lightning team, I run an extra DPS. And Sigdrifa is kind of a weird in-between spot because she can both tank and do damage. So I'm kind of double dipping by having her and Guilford here. But I don't really have any stronger Mike characters than him. So, I mean, I don't have any stronger light characters that are awakened to his level. Like, I could run other light characters, but they wouldn't be nearly as strong. Because, like, I could swap him out for... Let's see... I could swap out for someone like Mirafuse, but look at how much my power went down. And even if I were to go in and swap all of her costumes here, let's see. What are you doing, game? So let's see, if we change this for this, and then replace this crossbow with oh, sorry. Let's see, replace that with this. There. Yeah, see? I'm still like 100,000 weaker than I was with Guilford. So that's one of the problems with that. The awakening system makes it so that certain characters just aren't viable for use for you until they get to a certain point, which kind of bothers me because I feel like you should be able to just play with whoever rather than being forced to use certain people. I want to check something real quick here. Because I could run Yono. And I could give her these. Nope. Even then, she's just not strong enough. Yeah, nope. I'm sad to say that's not gonna work. Because Yono's awakening just isn't high enough to be able to compensate for Guilford's plus 10. But wait here. We can try some testing. But instead of Yono here, let's put in Cotton. Here she is. Sweet little thing. And then we'll equip her with our 2 Nirvana Tears. And then for her final item, we'll give her an attack increasing gauntlet. And then the thing about fusing costumes is you don't have to get it up to 100% in order to upgrade your skill. As you just saw, I upgraded this from level 6 to level 7 when I had like a 15% chance of success. So that's definitely an option. Costume breakthrough is just if you have an additional copy of a costume, you combine them to make them stronger. That claw's just not strong enough. Switch it with this one. There we go. That's a little better. We'll have to test that out and see how that works. But alright. So, yes, team composition is very important. Make sure you have, I would say 2 supports is usually a pretty good bet. If not, then you can try and go like the all DPS route, but there will be points where you will just get wiped out. And you won't be able to strong arm through it anymore, and you'll have to rely on healing and crowd control and all that good jazz. But that's no different than any other game. So, that's Tales of Erin. I hope that my little charade about it has gotten your interest up to the point where you want to try it out. I know that I'm going to be doing a lot more content for the different mobile games that I play here in the near future. So if you look forward to that, I hope that you tune in and keep watching. So thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.